Welcome to another episode of the Become a Project Manager podcast. My name is Mauricio from Yesi Education, and today we're going to talk about what to do when things are not going your way on a project. And this can happen for a myriad of reasons, but mainly because there are a ton of different variables that take part on any project. You have many people working on a project, each with different priorities, might be from different areas, with different managers, different agendas, and so forth. So of course, that in itself brings a lot of complexity into any project, particularly because when we are talking about humans, there are emotions involved and subjectivity, sensitivities, and a lot of other things that anyone brings to a project, of course. But then you also have things such as potentially your project not being on schedule or things not going to plan due to delays with contractors, vendors, with the procurement process, with a ton of different variables that are involved in any project. You might also have scenarios where you are spending more than what you had anticipated, or there are unforeseen costs involved in the project that you hadn't originally considered in the budget, such as licensing, travel, training, or just hiring someone that you perhaps didn't anticipate that you needed, but now you do. You might also deal with things such as people leaving, changing jobs, going on maternity leave, taking sick leave, or being away for, again, a ton of different reasons. All of these things that we've just talked about have one thing in common, and that is that they are completely and entirely out of your control, yet they have a direct impact on the project and its outcome. So how can you deal with this stuff that you have no control over, that happens on a project, that derails the project, doesn't allow you to meet your project goals and objectives? How do you deal with that? How should you take charge when things are not going to plan? That's exactly what this episode is about, and that's what we're going to talk about in this podcast episode. So one of the first things you should do when something is not going to plan is identify what type of thing you're dealing with. Is it related to people? Is it related to process? Is it related to the technology? What is exactly is occurring? What is causing the project not going to plan? So you first of all need to identify the causes and root cause of the project not going smoothly. Now this is important because it will allow you to narrow down what specifically is happening, and that will also allow you in turn to identify potential solutions, actions, mitigations, things that you can do to address those issues, to overcome them, and then get back up to speed and get the project back on track. Another thing you should be doing also when things are not going to plan is seeking feedback or input from your project team, from your key stakeholders, from allies, and from people involved in the project, so they can bring to you their perspective of why things are not going to plan, or what's happening with the project, or what could change, could be done better to ensure that we are all on the same page, on track, aligned, and meeting our project goals and objectives. So having that feedback from your project team, your trusted allies, your key stakeholders, your vendors, your contractors, anyone that is working with you on the project, will also help you bring your project back to its natural state and back to where it should be. And remember, if you're feeling frustrated, if the ideas, the solutions are not coming to you, it's always also very good to take a bit of a step back and take a bit of a breather and reanalyze the whole situation with a fresh mind. So if you're not feeling it, if this is like a day where the ideas are not flowing, the solutions are not flowing, things are definitely like it's one of those days, just take that day off. Take that day off. You might not be able to stop working, but maybe focus on another project or work on a report or work on something else while your mind, relaxes a bit and allows you to think again with a fresh mind about potential solutions, and will provide you also better clarity, a better understanding, and ultimately allow you to fix whatever needs fixing to ensure that your project gets back on track. Now, if the issue relates to money, right, and you're overspending and you really can't ask for more money, they're not going to give you more money, well, then reassess and reorganize your budget, create a new budget, adjust your budget so that you reduce your expenses moving forward to ensure that the overall budget sticks to the plan. Okay? You might need to cut down on some of the expenses you were planning to do, or you might need to rearrange, or you might need to make trade-offs. But taking that action of planning on what remains of your budget, how you're going to spend it to ensure that you underspend and compensate with the overspend that you had to date will allow you to get yourself back on track or to minimize as much as possible the overall overspend, if in the end you do need to overspend a little bit. Now, if the issue is related to timeline and to time delivery and to you not delivering the project on time or things taking a bit longer than what you had expected, then perhaps what you should be doing is looking at your Gantt chart, at your project timeline, reassessing the upcoming milestones, the upcoming tasks, and thinking if there's anything you can do to shorten them, to, potentially you might need to add more resources, or you might need to put some things in the parking lot or in the back burner to ensure that you can still stick to the plan and deliver the project on time. Alternatively, you might have to run things in parallel. For instance, if you were planning 2 training sessions, one on a Tuesday and one on a Thursday, well, perhaps you might do one on a Tuesday morning and the other one on the Tuesday afternoon. So you're running things concurrently in parallel and trying to optimize the time that you have so that you can again get the project back on track and deliver the project as planned. Sometimes it's also good to discuss things with a peer. So for instance, another project manager who worked on a similar project or faced a similar challenge, you might go to them for counsel. So seek those peers that you know are really good project managers and get their input or suggestions on how to deal with the challenges that you're facing. You also have the support of the Project Management Office or PMO, who are also there to assist you. And of course, sometimes you do need to discuss alternative solutions or ideas, or you might need to seek guidance from your manager or your project sponsor or your mentor if you have a mentor. And remember, many other project managers have faced challenges either equally to what you are facing now or similar. And if you talk to them, sometimes they will give you really good ideas of how you can do, what you can do to address those issues that you're facing now on your project. Your change manager and your business analyst are also really good sounding boards because they are key team members in your project team if you have them, and they also have their best interest at heart in making sure that the project is successful. They want to ensure that things go to plan and the end users are happy and the project meets its project goals and objectives. So also use them as a sounding board, brainstorm with them when needed, and make sure that you incorporate them in that process of analyzing the different things that are impacting the project and how you can address them. And of course, you can also include the broader project team if you feel it would also be helpful. Okay, so we're going to leave it there for today's episode. I'm sure you will get a lot of value out of it. And as always, if you have anything else you want to add or anything else you want to share with the community, feel free to leave a comment, and I'm sure everyone else will find it really helpful. If you're enjoying the podcast and you're finding it helpful in your journey as a project manager, make sure to leave a review, comment, share, like. All of that helps us and helps other people find the podcast so that they can learn as well more about project management like you're doing right now. Okay, my name is Mauricio from Yesi Education, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.